Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Neil Haley Show. You can check me out on Twitter at Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley Facebook, and then all the different places at Total Radio Net. And again, TotalTutor.net for my tutoring business, but NeilHaley.com is where everything is at. Excited to finally say, hey, it's up and running. We put new celebrity interviews up on the website every day. God, check it out. Some amazing people I talked to today before coming to the studio. Ken Jeong, ABC Dr. Ken. I had someone promoting a show, ABC's Conviction, that was from King of Queens, and also promoted Dancing with the Stars. So go there and you'll check it out. And I'm excited to welcome to the program my co-host, WPL Hall of Famer, UNLV running rep, ESPN analyst, Coach Karen Hall. Coach, another great guest we already had, and I like always having somebody a second time because we're kind of knowing the story, learning about who they are as a person, and then we make those connections from that, right? Correct.
Right. So we have Coach Terrance Parham, who was one of our guests on our syndicated and blogs radio show. So we welcome you to the studio, Coach Parham.
Appreciate you guys having me out.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to go way back, but just give us a quick summary. Well, not quick, but just a little summary of Coach Terrance Parham.
Sure. I'm a Northside guy, born and raised, and went to a small school, St. James, in the West End that's no longer open, and then on to Shady Side in Bucknell.
Okay.
Brief stint with the Stocks. I worked at Federated and realized that it's not something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I'm too fidgety. I had to be involved. And although they wanted me to stay, they understood that my passion was with coaching. And got back to Shady Side, and kind of the rest is history. Will Saunders was fortunate. Will Saunders put me on his staff and had a lot of success under him. And he definitely helped prepare me to be where I'm at right now as far as head coaching.
So you have what we know to be as triple threat.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know the triple threat, but it is not that. So what is your triple threat?
That was definitely part of it. But when I started it, because I was fortunate to play multiple sports, I thought the name triple threat kind of gave me that out to offer.
What were those sports you played?
Football, basketball, baseball, and track. So in high school. So I was very active. And so I took that same approach with the training. I wanted to offer football, basketball, and baseball training. I wasn't well versed with the track, so I left it at triple threat. And then, although I don't run, we offer baseball and football. I primarily focus on the basketball aspect. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so you have other people
that
do the other training?
Baseball and that.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah, who are they?
So, I send my for speed and agility. I send my guys to Dwayne Brown, who's just.
I coached him.
Did you?
I did.
And I played. We competed. So at Carrick, and he's just outstanding. When you look at the people that he's worked with, just for one, just say Aaron Donald, who's probably the number one defensive lineman in the NFL right now. So he does a great job there. And then Scott Bender helps with the baseball side. He runs. He does it out of Alpha Club, but he's played at Slippery Rock and Youngstown State. Coaches at Shady Side Academy now with baseball. So it's been a great little transition for all three aspects.
So why a training? I guess facility and training concept. Why? What was the need?
For me, when I stepped down from coaching, I was looking for that next outlet, and a very close friend of mine, Anthony Cheatham, was definitely one of the basically top skill guys around. And I prided myself on being an X and O guy with the coaching, but I knew if I wanted to truly attract and be good at the skill training, I needed to get with somebody who was at the top, who was, you can't have too much pride. And I felt like I could get with Anthony, and he took me under his wing. And what happened basically was he left town, and his clientele needed a trainer. And so I said, if I'm going to do this and do it at the level that Anthony's been doing it at, I better hit the books. And I did that, and very fortunate that his clientele base kind of stuck with me. And then by treating people, right, and not promising anything, word got out, and I've never made a call to anybody to come train. They kind of found me, and I pride myself on that.
Very nice.
Really that's important because you're trying to get personal referrals instead of the advertising end, because you have people that have trusted who you are. And what you're able to do. Yeah.
You said it. When you look at my competition, I guess in the city, I don't have a board of directors or anything like that. It's just kind of on me. And to me, it means a little more when you just you don't have to solicit, so to speak. They find you, whether it's word of mouth or what they see online, and they feel like what you do can help them. that's gratifying.
So for the training, when you're training basketball, there's a lot of different things, not just the skill sets, right? Are you training just skills or looking at endurance, everything involved?
Looking at everything. I like to incorporate speed and agility as well as the skill set, because you want to be strong in your skill set in the fourth quarter, just as strong in the fourth quarter as you are in the first. And to be honest, I felt like I was one of the first to do that in the area. Nobody was really doing the speed and agility. A lot of people were just focusing on basketball.
Yes.
And when I started at D1 sports facility in Greentree, that was our main focus. We wanted to kind of change it and incorporate the speed and agility. Now, when you look around, it's imitation's the highest form of flattery. You see a lot of basketball academies, and the one thing that they're all incorporating now is the speed and agility aspect. So I think we kind of took the lead on that, and people are catching up, which is great. And we definitely want to continue to grow and expose our athletes to that aspect.
So you mentioned in explaining what triple threat is, no promises. So what do you mean by no promises?
You saw in your last guest that the game hasn't changed, but parents have.
Yes.
And so many parents just want to be told that their kid is the greatest thing since sliced bread and they're going to D1. And I never wanted to have a client based on something that I promised them. The only thing that is promised is that I'm going to work you hard, and the work that you put in will definitely be rewarded. What level that gets you to, who knows? And if you have aspirations on reaching the highest level, hey, these scouts, they'll find you.
Does that come up in conversation as you're going into a training, when you're beginning to train a client?
Yes, I stress that.
Okay, so you bring that up to both parent and client?
I'm not promising anything, but we will work. And I will work with you not only on the court, but off the court as well. Which means that you have to handle your aspect in the classroom by saying, if I'm making these phone calls to colleges, then you got to make sure you're handling the academics and you're not giving a school a reason not to recruit you. And I think that's gone really well for us. It really has.
And when you're seeing with the training, how does it take place? Do you have group training, or what do you do?
I do both. I do both. Small groups, large groups. We'll do teams and individual. I go from really kindergarten all up. I'm not one of these trainers that, I'm too good to work with this player. Their skill set isn't elite. Well, it might not be elite now, but with hard work, they can become elite.
So that brings a point up for me, because so you're kindergarten through.
Yes.
Okay. So a kid's just raw, or is it a kid who's just starting to play to a kid who's been playing? I mean, there's so many levels of a kid coming to be trained. So where's your patient level? Because it's different here than it is there.
It is a great point. I get that from my mom, I think, being a teacher, and then obviously myself taking that route, being a teacher, that I think that you have to have patience. And for me, I was fortunate to teach at Wilkinsburg and at Shadyside. So I felt like I got two extremes, and you need patience in both ends. And that's really helped to carry over. And because you make a great point, there's so many other trainers like, there's no way I'm doing that. I don't have the patience. This kid isn't. And so it was a challenge to me. And now what I'm doing is bringing other fellow coaches that want to get into training. I started from the ground up. I'm not just going to throw you right out there to the elite. Let's work on the ground up, see where your patience level is at. How do you work with kids on different levels? And more importantly, how do you communicate with these kids? Because I think communication is key. And so the patience is a virtue, has really paid off for me.
And scheduling training one-on-one group, especially with the AAU, that's challenging. And your coaching schedule.
You said it. It was something I had to learn. I went into this, with no blueprint. And so I didn't know when the downtime and the peak time for training and things of that nature. And for me and my wife, I had, my teaching contract wasn't renewed. So I was out of teaching, and we're building a house, and we had a family on the way, and, things had to pop. And like I said, I wasn't well versed with the peak times of this. So the first year was a little rough on learning when to schedule, when you're going to be most busy. And so after the first year, I learned that, from say, February through August, training is extremely strong. And it'll die down because now high schools have, open gyms multiple days of the week, throughout the year. And so you had to figure out ways to compensate that. And so I got into hosting tournaments and things of that nature that help compensate when the training goes down. But I do it 7 days a week. which is maybe my wife likes it, gets me out of the house a little bit, but I go 7 days a week. We do hour to hour and a half sessions, sometimes 2. I can be a little long-winded, and again, I break it down into small group, large group, team, and or
right.
individual.
But you're saying there's a peak season, so when
Yes.
you don't get 7 days a week when you're coaching and the season's going on.
So here's the thing: you can still kind of go 7 days a week because the training season may go down for high school, but you still have middle school kids that want to go. So it, believe it or not, it keeps me going 7 days a week.
So where are your trainings?
Not as many hours.
Where are your trainings? At your high school? Or?
Primary, yes, Deer Lakes, and I also use Winchester Thurston. I also use Monroeville Sports Center that they just renovated. They have 3 full courts out there, and looking to expand even further out there. So different pockets, but try to be accessible for kids in different parts of the area, and working relationships with these facility owners has proven to be big for me. The biggest thing is they feel I'm professional. They like the way I work with kids and the way I treat kids. And to me, if you treat people the right way, good things will happen. And it's allowed me to have multiple places to hold training sessions.
And you're using your business acumen from your past.
Correct.
Because you just mentioned multiple gyms.
Correct.
So, I mean, you have a wonderful demeanor in the conversation, but it becomes business. So is there a bartering going on between you and the places that allow you to
that's
do
a great
your
question.
training?
I think part of my reason for taking the Deer Lakes job is that they understood that this was my full-time job prior to getting back into coaching. So I needed to have that access to the gym when it was available, and they've been great about that. And then I had already, prior to taking the job, had used Winchester Thurston, and they've just been outstanding as far as opening the doors to get me in there. So, I will say, hey, I will work with your high school team at a discounted price, certain players and things of that nature. Fair exchange is no robbery, and that has worked. And the same thing with the Monroeville Sports Center. We even go 50-50 on certain items and things of that nature. So it's like I said, fair exchange is no robbery. And if you treat people right.
So you were teaching before that?
Yes.
Where were you teaching?
So, Shadyside Academy, alma mater, and I'm fortunate things just didn't work out on the teaching end, and contract wasn't renewed, but that doesn't mean things stopped.
What subject?
It's history.
Wow.
History. So I love it, and I still consider what I'm doing now teaching. So although I'm out of the classroom, it's just a different type of classroom on the court, and I'm still able to reach kids and teach and help them get to where they want to go.
Have you had some of your clients move past the high school level into various divisions of college?
You said it. As you know, Pittsburgh hasn't produced as many Division I males as we did in the past. But just recently, I just had Julian Batts from Jeanette, who I was able to work with for a long time. He just got his scholarship to Long Island University, so he did a great job last year. Matt D'Amico from Fox Chapel, their all-time leading scorer, had a scholarship to Clarion University, and now I didn't work out there, but he's at St. Vincent's, which is a top 10 Division III program. Corey Stanford from Penn Trafford, to name another, who had an outstanding high school career, went down to Catholic University, freshman All-American, Player of the Year ECAC. So these guys have taken what we've worked in and not only but trusted in their ability that they belong at the level that they're at, and that good things can happen with hard work. And so now with some of these guys, like a guy like Corey, who's having a great career, we're looking to maybe see now if you can get it to the next level overseas. And nothing is impossible, no matter what level.
So when we get back, more with Coach Terrance. You're watching the Neil Haley Show, and I'm going to be interested in learning about what's going to happen with Deer Lakes this year. And again, this whole conference realignment. I would not want to be a parent right now with the travels. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, Bethel Park. Remember me? My name is Jason Planitzer. I was the host of a little show here. You may have seen it. It was called The Jason Planitzer Show.
What would you say your experience at BPTV, how has that had an impact on your life?
I found my voice. I learned how to be funny. I learned how to create things. I learned how to collaborate with people here. I developed an interest in film and comedy and making videos. it stuck with me. It continued through my life. I got into working on motion pictures. I now I'll produce small videos. I'll work with producers on commercials, television projects, feature films. I scout locations on TV shows and movies, which involves me reading scripts, finding the locations that need to be shot, and collaborating with the director and production designer to find the perfect spot. It all started at BPTV for me.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and I'm with Coach Terrance and Coach Hall. And Coach, I tell you, he's working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
How are you able to do that? I run for 5 almost straight, and then I work some in the weekend. But 7 days of training, it can get taxing and tiring.
Extremely understanding wife. Again, I think sometimes she likes the fact that I'm out of the house, but. We have a great plan. I'm at home with the boys during the day, and when she gets off of work, I take my job to the gym and get at it. And then on the weekends, she's off, so it allows me to train full time. I'm also running. It's our second year running an all girls fall league out at North Allegheny. It's really the only girls fall league in Western PA, which is taken off as well. So busy, but understanding that hard work is needed, and staying busy is what you have to do if you're ready.
And be a successful entrepreneur.
You said
and
it.
So did you learn a lot of that at Bucknell and stuff, this entrepreneurship and stuff?
If you can't help but learn it when you're around that. I take it back. I learned that really at Shady Side.
Shady Side tells you
being exposed to just so many affluent families and successful families that you understood that this is what it takes. I didn't always, when I'm over one of my friends' house, I wasn't just over there to hang out. A lot of times I'm asking her dad, hey, what did you do and what are you doing to do this kind of thing? And it carried with me.
Did you see a lot of families that were at Shady Side that were entrepreneurs?
You had not so much entrepreneurs, but CEOs and presidents and things of that nature, people at the top, and what did it take to get to the top, and what steps did you take? And I'm very fortunate they were saw enough into me to take some time and to just talk life, talk business with me. And it was something that I wasn't always getting, say, from on the north side. It was just two different cultures.
But your exposure was all over. I mean, you had North Side, Shady Side Academy, like the basketball.
Yes.
So you got all this going on, which is, now today you took all that, made it work for you. I'd like to know, of all those conversations with the CEOs, the CEOs, and different exposure experiences, was there one or a few common commonalities that was equaling success or leadership or how to do?
Yeah, I think one of them came from one of my kids that I trained, Mr. Cordero. He's probably the top guy in vending machines, and I got conversations with him about what it took, and also very fortunate with the Rooneys. I was able to coach Dan Rooney, and I think a lot of people would think, well, that kind of family, you can't really approach them, and they were the most modest family and most humble, and always had time to just talk. And most importantly was just believe in what you do, have passion in what you do, and treat people the right way. And never be afraid to ask a question, because there's no such thing as a dumb question. And I've taken that all the way through, whether it was academics or basketball or this training. If I don't know a certain drill, I want to go and find out.
Have you seen certain trends where what you first started doing in training has led you in a different entrepreneurship to different types of training, and what thinking smart compared to working so much, it's quality versus quantity? Did you start to see that? And especially working that many days, you don't want to work that many hours.
Right.
You have to think smart. You have to really work and think the right mindset and see where the trends take you. I've seen trends in my business where it was all tutoring. Now it's going in social media and branding, and it's becoming the biggest thing, and it's getting me closer to my family, to be home more. So I took that route at this age to kind of change my focus of how I'm going to market myself and get out there. Are you seeing that too, especially now at Deer Lakes, and now you're in a different location and clientele base than it was before, and how you're approaching things?
Yeah, I think early on, when you first started out, you're just trying to do
tutor. That's all I did. That's all me.
And then you're like, man, like there has to be a better way.
Yeah.
And so now that's, early on, I was pretty much all individual. And so then I said, well, I can break this up into small groups and competitive and elite groups. And so it allowed me to get players with other players that had comparable skill sets, and then also to cut down on the hours. So now I don't have 8 hours individual sessions in a day. I may have 3 individual sessions and 2 group sessions, which allowed me to relax a little bit and spend more time with my boys who are growing. And also I wasn't a big social media guy, but the social media aspect of posting what you do and allowing that to be seen played a big role. And I don't post much just because I don't like to give away all my good stuff.
So you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Especially most of your business is personal referrals.
You said it. You said
I have changed in a lot of ways where I have a sales team for the other business I have now, but tutoring, because of that personal nature, every one of them are personal referrals. And that's so when you do lose a client moves on because they graduate or different things, it's harder than in this business that I'm in now, where we're constantly prospecting. It's a different animal, and in a lot, I like the safer thing of prospecting. It's nice to wait for that phone to ring, but you have the success, but it can get taxing at different times.
It can, and the website and just being visible that way, people going and seeing what you do with the different. And also, I thought you had to be reasonably priced. I feel extremely confident in my ability to teach skill, but I also know everybody's economic situation is different, and I know what some of the people are charging. And for me, it's hard for me to ask somebody to spend that kind of money with me when you still have light bills and a family to take care of. And I know that growing up, I wouldn't have been able to afford that price. And so I just want to make it accessible for everybody. That's why I offer payment plan packages and things of that nature.
So how about Deer Lakes? Give us update us.
Deer Lakes, I tell you what. First of all, I didn't expect to be back in coaching this soon. But when I got contacted from the AD, who we have a history, it was intriguing. I was always going to games when I taking the 2-year hiatus. My wife kind of knew I had the itch, and she said, go for it. I went out and applied. A totally different challenge. At Shadyside, although we were accused of recruiting, that wasn't the case. We just had kids that worked, and once you establish a program, the next group doesn't want to be the ones to let that down.
And work gets out.
And work gets out. And now I'm at a program that hasn't won a playoff game since 1985, and being close has been okay, and that's not me, and so we're going to change it. I'm not the previous coach. He did all that he could, and he decided it was time for him to move on, which opened the door for me, and so now I'm exposing these kids to different things as far as the skill training and things that I couldn't do my first stint at Shadyside because I wasn't a skill trainer. So I've been doing all skill in the summer, and just recently we started working on our offense and defensive sets, and so we'll be a little bit behind in the shootout that we're going into this Sunday. But I think skill-wise, I think you need the skill to be able to play. So we focus on that first at Deer Lake. So getting the kids out of their comfort zone and putting them in places that make them, have to deal with adversity. Because as we all know, you're going to deal with it on the court and off the court. So let's attack it.
What about the mindset? Because they haven't won their playoff game since 1985. This is 2015, 16.
Yes.
So the mind has to think, well, what's going to be different now?
You have to believe it to achieve it, and I went in last year saying playoffs, and these guys, I think a lot of people
they looked at you, didn't they?
And not even maybe so much my players, but the community. Like, do you know what section you're in, or what are you? And my point is, so what? You got to get out here and play. And did we have eat our humble pie last year? Without a doubt. I mean, we had the Whippeal runner-up in Highlands, the state runner-up in Mars, all in the same section to go with Hamptons and Knox. So it wasn't easy, but to be the best, it's never going to be easy. It is, and I will never back down from saying we are not just shooting for the playoffs. We want to win this section. We want to win this section. Whether other people feel it's realistic or not, nobody knows the work that we're putting in behind these closed doors. So the kids bought in. because I think when you give a new coach, change can bring resistance.
Yes.
And to those my 4 seniors that I lost, I give them all the credit. They bought in, and the rest of the group did the same, and it allowed us to start taking that next step.
How's realignment going to change? The WPIO realignment.
I tell you, the traveling is going to be a little brutal, but I feel like we will be a lot more competitive. Okay. So I feel like the basketball guys kind of shine down on me a little bit as far as making us, allowing us to be a little more competitive.
Who's in your section?
Well, now we do have to travel. Indiana, Yock, Mount Pleasant, Derry, Freeport, Valley, and we're the one of the 4A sections with only 7 teams. Okay. So it's traveling, but again, I think it's
more
because we're only 3 boys. Yeah, because we were only 3 boys over the AA limit, which put us in that section last year. So we were so close to really.
So is it considered single A?
This is considered 4A, but for us it kind of stays the same, because with the 6 classifications, Mars and those teams moved up, and Deer Lakes, Valley, and Freeport.
So they gave a lot of the smaller schools the opportunity to win finally.
You said it. Yeah. You said it, because it's just, I mean, you
it's the size of the school.
Yeah, you're going to have more chances to pull from that talent pool. So I think it's a more level playing field, although the traveling and maybe even some of the rivalries will be lost. So hopefully, they can. I don't know what you can do about the traveling, but maybe the non-section games now, these other teams that lost rivalries can get those back through
in a couple years.
Games. Yeah, you said it.
They have to wait the scheduling and all that stuff.
But our rivals haven't changed. The Valleys, the Freeports, we're still Boroughs, where we're going to play those non-sections. So I even get a chance this year to go back to Shady Side. So that's going to be a
tournament.
No, it's It's a regular non-section game right after the tip-off tournament. So I know some of those players who I train, they're going to be chomping at the bit to get at me. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Definitely.
So when the season start for you guys? Because it seems like the season's year-round all the time, though.
Yeah, I think it's November 17th or 19th would be the official first day. So,
preseason conditioning right now.
You said it. Everybody's doing it. So that's where we're at right now, definitely.
And more the preseason conditioning or shoot-arounds have changed in a lot of ways.
Without it, didn't happen when I was in high school. You played basketball when it was basketball season, and so on and so forth. So you're right. It is. It's become a more demanding job, not only for the players but for the coaches. Sure. So, I think with the success that you're seeing with some of these teams that had started this year on, whether it was Coach McConnell at Char Valley or even Coach Miller back at Blackhawk days, that were doing it to kind of spark the bug. Not all coaches are into it, but I see the benefit of it when you can have that relationship with your kids and you're constantly working on things that are going to be needed to have success during the season. That goes a long way. So
you're definitely in your sweet spot, and we can tell that passion is just pouring over.
It's definitely a lot of passion for sure. Where's the best place we can find information on your business and all the other stuff?
Yes, I'm. You can find me at triplethreatpgh.com. Also Facebook, Twitter. I'm at Jim Rat. You can find me on Twitter there. So definitely there's some outlets out there to Google, without a doubt. And I just took over the boys side of Slam AAU basketball, so you can find me on the Slam basketball website as well. So I'm just trying to stay busy and not trying to change the game, but just trying to help players become more effective within it. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for definitely stopping by.
Thank you guys so
fantastic.
Much. Great.
All right, guys, that was the Neil Haley Show. Coach, again.
Yeah, another good one.
We'll see you soon. An unbelievably busy October for me, but we don't know when this is going to air. But I'm out in New York City, a bunch of different interesting things. But you got to check us out. Check me out on Twitter at Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, neilhaley.com or totaltutor.net. Next week, another exciting show. Take care, everyone.